Welcome to Waxing the Porpoise, the podcast that dives deep into the unexplored depths of cinema and occasionally the unexplained. This week, G-Baby and the usual suspect Steve are back to celebrate our historic 100th episode.
Oh, get it!
And review a film that plays like a choose-your-own adventure, only with increasingly shittier options to choose from in 1991's Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Join us as we discuss the Baldwin acting dynasty, a glimpse into the then-future 1996 dystopian BURBANK, California, of all places, Don Johnson stealing the show, and ponder the age-old question, is it better to be dead and cool than alive and uncool? The porpoises, midnight companions and keen observers, try our hand in a landlocked environment this time, going toe to fin against a drug ring masquerading as a bank led by none other than Tom Sizemore.
Well, for me, the action is the juice.
Where are we going? Nowhere special. Come on, we'll take you there. Let's wax this Keep It 100 porpoise.
Chase, don't do that.
See, we working on his brow chakra. We're just in back in the crown chakra.
All right, I'm going to take a quick shot. We'll get going.
What do you got? What is that, laudanum?
No, I found these things are fun. They're on the rocks. They're
okay.
pre-made, little bottled. It's like a pint. I think
Looks
this
like
is
you got it from a haberdashery or something.
Yeah, it does. This is like a.
Oh, this is
yeah.
liquid codeine.
Yeah, I wish. 375 mils. So yeah, this is a pint. It's a pre-mixed cocktail. So this is an old fashioned with bitters and a little bit of lemon juice and Knob Creek whiskey.
Yeah.
Just takes the like I know if I drink exactly half of this and 2 beers, I'm gonna be like perfect. Like that's what I've got it down to, where I don't feel like shit in the morning.
Yeah.
Or like later this evening and feel like I have to go raid the fridge to get the equilibrium back.
Yeah.
Put one foot on the ground. Yeah, these things are nice, and they're like fucking $9. So it's just for someone who doesn't like drink regularly, it's a nice I know I can do this, and 80% of the time I'm gonna feel pretty solid.
Yeah.
Just to jump in here real quick, at the time of this recording, yours truly, G-Baby, I was honored to be a guest on a couple other shows that are out right now. Please show some love to our pal and Waxing the Porp favorite, Ruth's Raise the Flag Chris. His new show, Dead Formats, he and I and another good friend of the show, Staring John, talked about Beer Money from 2001, a hidden direct-to-USA channel gem. We got into a lot of fun 90s nostalgia talk. Yeah, he's got a great show. Fans of Mount Molehill already know. Check him out. Dead Formats everywhere you get podcasts. And last but certainly not least, I was just on Straight Chilling's latest episode, number 519, where we talked about 13 Ghosts. And I danced once again with the Malort Devil, paying my respects to St. Paddy's Day. I had a great time. I did not hurl. So yeah, check out Straight Chilling as well. They've got an excellent show, as many of you already know, and they're just a bunch of straight shooters with upper management written all over them. Please continue. Cool. All right. Well, here we go. Welcome to Waxing the Porpoise, the podcast where we dive deep into the dark and uncharted waters of film, high strangeness, and everything in between. This evening, we cordially invite you to join us on this historic episode 100, finally, where we will be discussing the early 90s classic, some might say, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Before we dive in, introductions are in order. I will be your host, resident cloaca admirer, Jim G. Baby.
You really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
And of course, joining us on the cinematic odyssey is our co-host, who definitely doesn't look like Kevin Spacey with a beard, the usual suspect, Steve.
Hey, great gift, Dad. Thanks, son.
How's it going, buddy?
Good. You're a dick. I feel like I look more after watching this one like the seventh Baldwin brother than I do Kevin Spacey.
I can totally see that.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know Daniel Baldwin was a real person, but it's like the missing link where if you go from Alec to like Steven to Daniel, I'm somewhere at the end of that line.
Did you find yourself? Did you like? So you didn't know that anything about Daniel Baldwin?
No, and I briefly looked at his IMDb. He's got like 150 credits and not a single thing that I've ever seen.
Pure trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a ton of credits, 95% of which are trash, and he's like peppered in. He's in some like notable, like not completely dog shit films, but yeah, he's definitely I don't know if that's fair saying the black sheep, but that's like the closest approximation, I think, because they all have their demons, but he's definitely the least successful or like the least well known.
So Stephen Baldwin is the one who's born again now and was in Usual Suspects, right?
Yep.
So that's a lifetime pass as far as as far as I'm concerned. What about Billy Baldwin? What's his thing?
I would say he's kind of on the same wavelength of Steven in terms of celebrity and popularity, but like a notch below. For sure, The Usual Suspects definitely puts, that's like a G card for life kind of deal for Stephen Baldwin. Yeah. I would say though, I think some could argue they're interchangeable because Billy Baldwin was in Backdraft in 92 and he's pretty fucking tough in Backdraft. Yeah. But that's really it. Like he didn't have any other like, whereas Steven was in Usual Suspects. I mean, Biodome's a terrible movie, but it's like it's in the zeitgeist, you know? Yeah. I can't think of one thing. Like I just saw like a couple years ago, William Baldwin. Billy is now doing like fucking like Hallmark movies and shit like that, like really cheeseball just to like make a living kind of thing. But yeah, definitely Alec, Stephen, and William right there in the middle, kind of bobbing and weaving, and Daniel's.
Yeah. You know, well, and Alec Baldwin killed a woman, so there's that. Yeah, Daniel's he's had his demons, and he's been in some really shit films, and he's not helping his cause in this film at all. He's pretty terrible. Although he does have a pretty funny line towards the end that I'm sure we'll get into. But have you ever seen this before, or has this anywhere in your like memory of like knowing about this at all? No, absolutely not. Never heard of it. Not even vaguely familiar.
Yeah, this bombed pretty hard in the box office, and I knew it just from like being a video store rat and like grabbing it and like going to the cousin's house and watching it, you know, because it was rated R, and it was one we had a ball with when I was like 10, you know. I don't think it holds up that well, which we'll get into, but there are some just like it's a dumb buddy action. Like there's a couple things, but it definitely didn't hit me like it did when I was 12.
If there was a 12-year-old working with AI to make the most like dude movie you could think of, it's like motorcycles, fucking fighting, you know, that's the only input, then it would probably spit out this piece of shit.
Yeah, totally. Okay, yeah, this was made in 91 and weirdly takes place in 1996. I don't know, they're trying to like build like this weird dystopian LA, but they don't say it anywhere except that this is 1996. There's no indication that this is like a different world. I guess you could maybe argue a little bit here and there, but it seemed like a weird time jump.
See, I liked that because it kind of gave me the idea that it's not taking itself too seriously, because it's
it's pretty corny and cheesy and just schlocky, but the fact that it only took place 5 years in the future, it's kind of like, all right, it knows what it's doing. It's not trying to be, too groundbreaking or anything, but so I'll give it that.
Right on. Yeah, this is one I grew up with a little bit, and I just thought it was fucking badass. And for the longest time, I thought this dude was Harley Davidson, like that was a real person. I don't know anything about
Oh.
bikes. I don't know anything about the name, but I was like, that's Harley Davidson, and he's a bad motherfucker. And in hindsight, watching this as older person, it's like he sucks. Don Johnson's the dude that's like
Yeah.
the badass and that's carrying his ass. But did you notice Giancarlo Esposito in the opening credits?
I recognize the name, but I don't know who he was.
Dude, so that's famously now he's like one of these guys that has gotten way more famous as he's gotten into like his 40s, 50s, 60s. He's the Gus Fring.
Oh.
And it's the dude who kind of looks like Jimi Hendrix, and he's modeled after him in appearance. He's the old man's son, Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
Dude, you see how young that motherfucker looks? He
Yeah.
looks like a different person.
And there was a moment where I was like, man, this guy looks familiar, but I just can't place it. And then I did about 0 seconds of research to try to figure out what that connection was. But all right, yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, man. How different he looks. Just like, but I think 90s, and I don't think it's that long ago. And it's fucking 35. It's almost 40 years ago, dude. Like, god damn. So yeah, and I just turned 40 in January, which is fucking weird. Like, I just saw it. Someone put it like, it's like now when you were in the 90s and someone was like, oh yeah, I remember back in 60 whatever, and you're thinking like in the 90s being a kid, like the 60s feels like, god, like archaic, completely like old history. And it's like that's what it is now. When you think back to the 90s when you were a kid, it's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, it's a real mind fuck. That's for sure.
Time is a flat circle.
Nice parenting. Hey, thanks. See my therapist? Take a walk.
Also, Tom Sizemore is in it.
Oh yeah.
Didn't get too much to work with except for the end a little bit. He gets a little Sizemore crazy. Did you see Tia Carrere in there?
Yeah.
She has nothing to do.
Yeah, I just don't really get her appeal personally, but
Really?
yeah, it was a different time.
I liked her. I thought she looked the hottest probably in True Lies.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking
or
because she
Jury
was in
Duty.
Wayne's World, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I forgot about Jury Duty. That's a good one for Pauly Shore anyway. Otherwise, I cannot stand Pauly Shore in pretty much
Yeah.
anything other than Jury Duty.
Yeah, I take him in small doses. I do like him a lot also in the Army Now with Andy Dick, and Lori Petty is a lot of fun. I haven't seen that in fucking years though, but yeah, Tia Carrere is pretty smoking, but yeah, she looks pretty I think this is pre Wayne's World. This is like right before she kind of became a known actress, but yeah, Mickey Rourke, of course, Don Johnson, Tom Sizemore, D. Baldwin, the Dan Man we'll get into.
So the dialogue and acting overall was just so bad that I kind of thought like this has got to be just a joke over the top on purpose. But then when they would go to Sizemore, it was like, oh, he's just doing like a good job. Like he's a good actor. And I felt like, well, this kind of takes away from the intentionality of how shitty like Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson were. But
yeah, I guess famously, Mickey Rourke has come out multiple occasions and said he hates this film and he only did it for a paycheck, and like this made him like it like disillusioned him from acting. And then he tried to become a boxer, like a pro boxer, for a smattering of years right immediately after this. So yeah, his heart's definitely not in it.
Who would have thought Sizemore would be the first one to go out of all the rough trade in this movie?
Yeah. Yeah, I know Mickey Rourke was, you know, lived on the edge, and but Sizemore had his demons too. I mean, when you're fucking
Yeah.
around with like heroin and stuff, and that's a tough one to come back from for sure.
I mean, really, the only thing I know Mickey Rourke from is Sin City.
Mhm.
So, obviously he looks very different in that.
Yeah, and that's like a role. That's one of those roles that like he was probably made for, like born for, because he nailed that character so well. But yeah, I guess he's an acquired taste. He's been in like The Wrestler, which I haven't seen. That's like highly acclaimed, and he did a lot of shit in the '80s. Right before this, he did one with De Niro called Angel Heart. That's kind of a mind fuck. That's pretty good. He's pretty good in that. But so yeah, so Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. We got Harley, Mickey Rourke. He's wanted, dead or alive. Had to have that. John Bo,
Man,
Bon Jovi.
That's a tough intro. Tough stuff.
Dude, I can remember thinking back like, fuck yeah, this is badass when I was like 11, 12. And now I was like, dude, this is pretty fucking cheese. I was like, what are we in for here? But like just the way he like fucking lights up a smoke and like turns to the chick that he just fucked the night before, and she's like all naked on the bed, and like he just turns and looks at her and walks out, doesn't even say anything to her, like, yeah, this guy's fucking tough. And then we get Bon Jovi, title credits, and then he fucking holds up like somebody's holding up a liquor store when he goes to pump gas. So we gotta set the stage for how badass he is. I'm gonna cut you long, wide, and deep, Motorhead.
Yeah, great dialogue there.
And then he meets up pretty quickly with Don Johnson, who he's my favorite part of this film. I'm a pretty big Don Johnson fan, and I think, I mean, he's not great in this, but I like his character. I like the through line with the boots, and like my old man always told me before he left this shit world. He says that like fucking 10 times, dropping his like Confucius sayings throughout. You didn't like him?
No, I thought he was fine. I mean, I only know him from Miami Vice, which I've never watched, and classic Tin Cup.
Yeah, he plays a good dickhead for sure.
Yeah.
In a few films. He was also in you've seen Django, haven't you?
I have. Who's he in that?
He was the one of the plantation owners that dressed all in white.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do love that movie.
Yeah, he's in it. If you ever watch it again, he'll probably jump out at you after seeing this. Yeah, he's been in a few things that are pretty good. I like him in Tin Cup. He plays a good foil to Costner in that. Fucking huge dickhead. He was just in. Have you seen Rebel Ridge on Netflix?
No.
It's pretty fucking good shit, man. I think you might like it. It's kind of like Rambo-esque.
Okay. Yeah.
It's well made. He's in it, and he plays a fucking prick, like small town Southern crooked cop.
I forgot Mickey Rourke's in The Expendables too, just looking like shit.
Dude, the shit he's done to his face over the years, he looks rough, man. So yeah, so we set it up where Harley and the Marlboro Man, he's got a cigarette throughout. He just kind of holds it like a pacifier. He quit, so he doesn't actually smoke it. I thought that was kind of silly, but they're friends from way back in the day, and they get together. They're at their old favorite bar in Burbank, which it's like future 5 years from now. So 1996 Burbank, and they had just built some international airport. So there's all these skyscrapers in development, and then there's this like hole in the wall, like biker bar situated between these skyscrapers. Dude, it reminded me, do you remember in Chico that gas station, the Texaco, that had like half of a plane
Oh yeah.
sticking out of the top.
Uh-huh.
So that's what this bar has. It's like, I can't remember what it's called, like the rock and roll bar or something generic, but it has like a prop plane, like half in, half out.
Damn,
Into
I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, it has in the roof of the place. And then yeah, airplanes are like a big motif in this, because we go to that fucking airplane graveyard like 4 different times for showdowns. But so they breeze in there, and they know his actual credit in the credits is Old Man. So I don't know what the fuck his name is, but it's the owner of this bar, and like it's like Harley and Marlboro, and they have their cronies. It's dude Juan, who doesn't speak, and he's like signing throughout. And then we have Jimmy, played by Giancarlo Esposito, and then Jack, Big Jack. This fucking, I guess he was like a former wrestler. So,
dude, some of the names in this movie are so fucking dumb. Like Jack Daniels, Virginia Slim. It's like, yes, we get it.
yeah. Oh, dude, I meant to preface this. Did your, wherever you watch this, did it preface the film with like a
weird warning about there's no affiliation with actual brands or something. I forget what it said, but it was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it was like the film title is not intended to identify or promote a product or trade name of existing companies. No company has approved, sponsored, or endorsed the title or content of this film.
You sure about that?
I was like, dude, they could have easily just like slid him a suitcase and be like, you didn't get this from us. Like, we didn't give you permission. It's like, how do they get away with this, calling the film Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man without any royalties or coming at them? Like, I guess it's a different time in 91, like with the way rights and licensing shit goes.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just kind of chuckled when I saw that. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it too. I get more bumped by when you see those warnings for old movies that it's like, just so you know that there's violent gore, there's rape, and also smoking. It's like, okay, those aren't equal in my mind,
Right.
I just think it's funny with the smoking in particular when it's at the end of the list of like sexual violence, gore. It's like, well, if I'm going to let a kid watch that, it's not like I'm going to get to smoking and be like, all right, we're turning this off.
Yeah. Right. There's dudes like getting blown away in this and fucking, yeah, blood and guts, tits. I will say, dude, the first like pan into this titty bar, the chick that's on the bike, whoo,
Yeah.
hurt me. She can ruin my credit.
Yeah.
That was a fine piece of ace.
Yeah, I'm not a big short hair fan on the ladies.
Neither I. But
everything else was great.
Yeah, that was top tier rackage on that gal for sure. So yeah, we meet up. This is like the clubhouse. We get introduced to these cast of characters, and then we come to find out the whole lease that this fella had and like the particulars of that deal. I won't get into. It seemed kind of weird, but long story short, Old Man, who owns the bar, has to pony up like 2.5 mil in like 10 days or something, or else the bank is gonna rescind his lease and they're gonna throw up skyscrapers. And so Harley's like, I grew up here, man. Like, this is the part I was like, so you're gonna rob $2.5 million worth of, you're gonna boost a bank to pay off this guy's loan because you grew up at this bar?
Yeah, you're gonna steal $2.5 million from this bank and then pay that money back to the bank
to the same bank. Great trust. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
There are a few parts in this where it's like a choose your own adventure where it's literally the worst possible choice you could make. where he goes back to the bar and they're like, don't go in there, that guy's gonna fucking kill you because you banged his wife or whatever. And he's like,
yeah,
I think I'm gonna wait till he's drunk and jacked up after arm wrestling this guy to go back there and then confront him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, good call. And we need to find $2.5 million. Well, Guess we'll rob the bank and then give it back to the bank.
Yep.
Without doing any sort of recon of the armored truck to figure out what they're moving. I mean, apparently
What
we
they're
know the
actually
route,
carrying,
but
yeah.
we don't know that they actually have money. So,
Oh yeah, I
solid.
forgot to mention Vanessa Williams in this, looking
Yeah.
mighty fine.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so it was like insinuated that he had banged her back in the day, and there's this guy Jack, who the former pro wrestler dude, who's like 7'8",
Yeah.
like southern fucking brick shit house of a man, 400 pounds. So yeah, he gets clobbered. One of the things that stuck out this time when they meet up and they start brawling, when Mickey Rourke gets thrown out of the window into that car, it's like at least 1.5 to 2 stories fall.
Yeah.
And he lands like at such an angle, like right on his neck, side of his neck, going down into this car that thankfully had a cloth top. Dude, the way he folded whoever the stunt person, like that looked like
he died.
You're dying or you're quadriplegic now.
Yeah.
And then insult to injury, Big John, 6'85", 400 pounds, jumps feet. He does an ice pick into the car, very close about to the head, neck area. It's like, dude, they would both be, his shins and knees would be shattered. Mickey Rourke would be dead.
But then they have a sweet moment where he decides not to kill him, and then they almost start kissing.
Yeah, they get very close, dude. They do.
Like,
it's always been you, Jack. Always. Yeah, it could have taken a rough exit to Albuquerque on that part. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cheese, like how quickly they make up and like the amount of damage that should have been inflicted to their bodies. Anyway, so yeah, we get going into like, all right, we're robbing a bank, and I feel like this scheme was like, I guess on a shoestring, kind of well thought out, the way they like divert the streets and shit, but also shitty at the same time. I don't know. That's just kind of the read I got on it. Mainly the shitty part because of like what you mentioned, the recon and like not knowing that what they'd be carrying and stuff, because I'm sure they did this like the next morning.
Yeah, it seemed to be pretty quick, but
and they at the very beginning,
well organized as the heist was, the intelligence behind the heist seems to be lacking.
Right, and they do for the movie's sake, they set up like when Mickey Rourke's like looking tough, smoking cigarettes, staring out the window. We have a radio going on, and they're talking about there's a new drug on the streets.
Yeah,
you don't snort it, you don't shoot it, you don't whatever. It's called Crystal Dream, and it's what is it? The you put it in your eyes and it tells you lies. So there's this new drug in this 5-year into the future dystopia that's taking the world by storm. So when they actually boost this armored car or armored truck for Great Trust Bank, it's actually filled with these. I thought the bricks looked kind of cool. It looked like it looked like deodorant when it was like out of the casing, like that kind of weird color blue, like Old Spice. But so they figure out, oh shit, we just boosted a fucking armored truck full of drugs, and they're like, fuck, we're not drug dealers, what are we gonna do? And then we get our first hint or our first taste of Daniel Baldwin and his fucking Matrix goon squad and these like black duster fucking things,
the leather daddy trench coat mafia.
Nice. Yeah. And so dude, this scene where Big Jack comes up as the caboose and like on his Harley and he fucking slides it.
Oh man,
dude, that looks so bad. It's like he slid it, and like the first angle you get, the trajectory should not have gone that straight nor that far, dude. It was like the second shot, it had like mega like magnets on it, and someone was behind, and it was like sticking it like
to a target, that looked pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean, what else?
It's like it accelerated more after it had gone like 15 feet. Like he slid the bike at the same time right before removing the gas cap so he could then throw a lighter and blow it up. Like, it was
You're
pretty
right, though.
rough.
When he first laid it down, the momentum was like when you see a runner in baseball go to slide into second, but they come up like 20 feet short. Like, there's no
Right.
way this guy's getting there. But then it just picks up steam, and then they just leisurely step over the thing.
Dude, that little like hop, that little crow hop that they do over it with these fucking ankle length duster jackets, it looks so fucking weird. Like, it definitely made me chuckle, that little hop, while they all have these like European, like really weird looking like bullpup fucking machine guns.
I don't know what type of gun that is, but that gun,
I think it's an AUG.
it had a very specific moment, like in the 90s. I haven't seen one since, but they were very of the time.
It's been in a couple Call of Duties. That's the way I remember it, because I used to play.
Okay.
I used to play COD back in the late aughts, early 2010s, and it's definitely been in a couple. I think it's a Steyr, STEYR AUG. Maybe I could be wrong, but anyway, and they have like one thing I will say about like continuity and like realism. I feel like they nailed the shots to reload quotient. I usually in most movies, like, it's like they're just dumping rounds and they don't put in another clip. I feel like they're changing clips like every 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's like the one level of realism I caught in this. I was like, they stayed pretty true to that, because it looked like 20-30 rounds and then they're reaching for a mag.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even notice that, but I guess that just goes to what you're saying, where it seems more realistic. Because the worst is when it's like a revolver, and so there's only like 5 or 6, and they're just dumping like dozens.
Yeah, he just shot 18 times without like all bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Because I feel like with a machine gun, it's way easier to get away with. Like, oh, you didn't see him turn and go undercover and pop a new mag in. They're like in a straight line, like marching, like brrr, brrr, like
yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason they needed those trench coats for all the fucking mags. They needed to hold. It goes like from waist to like below knee level.
How much
one
did
piece of
cost in the Matrix?
Yeah. Yeah, it was very Matrix-esque for sure. So I guess also that stunt where he lays the bike down, Big Jack, he actually did that, and he suffered like damage that would fuck with him the rest of his life.
Yeah,
which I was like, fuck, man.
It didn't look very graceful.
Davidson? No. Yeah. So he had to carry that with him, like through, and I guess he died pretty early too. I think he died when he was like 48, and it said it was complications from wrestling and this accident.
Complications from being big as shit. Those guys don't live very long.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so can you imagine laying down a bike being 6'10" and like 430? Like, dude.
Yeah. Just crushing whatever leg goes down first. So can you imagine you try to steal money from an armored car and you come out with presumably millions of dollars worth of drugs? Once again, this choose your own adventure thing, picking the worst possible outcome of, well, you're not going to sell it yourself. You're not going to sell it to a drug dealer wholesale. I mean, the last thing you'd possibly do is go to the person's business that you stole it from, call them from inside their own business and offer to sell it back to them and expect not to be killed immediately.
Right. Yeah, dude. Yeah, when I was a kid, like, we're here for the show. We're here for the ride. And then like now it's like, what?
Yeah, why would you need to go, if you're going to try to sell it back to them, that's one thing. But why would you go there in person?
Yeah. Okay, I guess we got to go back to the bank we stole it from now. And posture and like fucking. Yeah, it's like, dude, this is such a bad idea. My first thought would be like, we have to find a fence somewhere.
So even if you could accept that, like, damn, these guys have serious balls, which Sizemore says, like they're not going to kill him because they need the drugs. Maybe, let's assume that's the case. So then they say, meet us in the boneyard or whatever it is. And then they all just meet in person and exchange the drugs for the money. And they expect not to get killed there immediately when they hand over the drugs.
Yeah,
also,
I mean, it is. I mean, they were just fine. They just had 8 people with like fully automatic machine guns firing in the middle of the day. Why wouldn't you do it at the airplane boneyard where there's ostensibly no one?
Yeah.
And they're out. I mean,
thanks for the drugs.
Yeah, you're dying.
Bye.
But yeah, so I guess it's like this cat and mouse thing. Like, so they put they play nice. Daniel Baldwin and his crew of goons, they deliver the cash, they swap the drugs, and they put a GPS tracker in the silver dollar or some kind of tracker in the GPS thing in the case. And then so what I'm confused about is like the following night or that day or whatever, when they go back to the bar to celebrate, like, oh yeah, we got the cash, fucking
yeah,
this place is safe, we're good. Like did old man like set it up like, come over and I'll pay you now my lease for the bar? Or was it just like,
no,
were they just there to kill him and say like, hey, do you got the money? Or I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter.
No, the reason why the bad guys came to the bar is because they took the fucking transponder and all the money and they were at the bar. So all they had to do was like open their little tracking thing and go, well, yeah, that big thing of money we just gave them. Well, that's like a No Country for Old Men thing. It's like, check the fucking bag when they give you money.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in there to help track it. So
I know. I'm just wondering what the guy. I wish I could have heard what the goon said to the old man.
They're like, "Where's our money?"
Yeah,
and he's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's what happened. Yeah. And then there's like this 2-way like mirrored glass, and then they just fucking unload, and then all of our friends die. Jimmy sees his old man get fucking murked. That was pretty hardcore because he's like, no, and then he gets wiped out immediately. Juan, I guess in the credits they're all named after like drinks and shit, like how you said Virginia Slim, Jack Daniels. The mute guy, his name was Jose Cuervo. He gets blown away. Big Jack. So we're down to just Marlboro and Harley. They abscond. They go back again to the fucking do they go back again to the airplane graveyard? I feel like they go there 50 fucking times.
This part, just a little thing that irked me a little bit. This is when they jump out the window again, and apparently the cloth top car has been repaired and is
now it's a hard top.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, because I remember this distinctly. I was like, because the bump that Harley takes the second time, I was like, fuck, that looked even worse because this is a hard top now. Because he hits it and rolls off. He's like, oh, fuck.
So then they have to jump over the fence to get into the airport, and
which is right next door.
And there's razor wire on the top of the thing. So I was expecting like, okay, he's got a leather jacket. He'll maybe lay that over like a prisoner escaping.
Nope.
He fucking grabs the barbed wire with his hand. Completely unnecessary. Like, just step over. But yeah, just
we
grabs
know that
it.
Dude's got mitts.
Yeah. And then no mention.
And he does, dude. Have you seen Mickey Rourke's hands? Have you ever gotten a close look at those things? Dude, they are some fucking like, dude, yes. He's in Iron Man 2, and like they zoom in on his hands a couple different times because he has this bird that's like his friend, and it's like hanging out on his hands. His fucking nails are so gnarly. They like go over, like it's like a ledge. Like they creep over the skin of the front of his. They look weird, man. He's got some like Neanderthal running through him for sure, like DNA. Anyway, yeah, he fucking just razor wire, no problem.
Yeah. It seems so unnecessary to even put that in there. Like, just don't grab it. Don't shred your hand.
How shitty is this part though? Like when they're running through like the baggage area, and there's these baggage handlers, and they go up through like the belly of some plane or whatever. To be that baggage guy, it's like, fuck, I'm just here working an overnight, making shit pay, and he just gets fucking wiped out.
Yeah.
Daniel, he's like, hey, you can't be here, sir. Fuck. That's the kind of thing you'd see in like RoboCop. Like in RoboCop, they really frame it up like it's like dystopian Detroit, like where crime is like, it's like near like apocalypse level. Like it's just like complete like chaos in the streets. But yeah, this guy's just
I've never
like
seen RoboCop.
pretty fucking rad, dude.
Yeah.
It's miles away from this. Like it's pretty awesome. More bloody. It's by the guy who did Starship Troopers. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have. Oh yeah.
Paul Verhoeven. He did Total Recall. He's done a lot of stuff, but yeah, he did the first RoboCop. RoboCop 1 is pretty tough. It's good shit. So they make it through the belly of this plane, and then they fucking end up flying to Vegas, and they get a hotel, and they're talking. And at this point too, I was like, yeah, the way that Harley's playing it, it's like your four best friends and the old man who like kept you out of being face down in a ditch, and like this place where you grew up in that you just turned around on a dime. Yeah, I'll steal $2.5 million right now to save your bar. And he's like footloose and fancy free in this hotel. And Don Johnson has to set him straight. But I was like, it does seem weird that he's so like aloof in this moment, like the way he's playing it.
Yeah, that's funny. I guess I kind of get where he's coming from, because it's like, damn, that was close, but we got away. So, like, what are we gonna do now? I mean, there's nothing back home to save. There's nobody to save. So, I don't know. I guess we can just take a load off for a minute. It is crazy to see just that old footage of Vegas, how different it looks now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, did that
like 90% of those, like 90% of the casinos you see there don't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, well, they probably just changed ownership and name and all that. But also like the fact that they're in the hotel and they find the transponder, it's like, I don't know, probably not back then. It wouldn't show elevation, right? So even if they could find they're in the hotel somewhere, I don't know. I wouldn't have freaked out right away, but
yeah, you would think it would probably be pretty like
early
prototype
it would be two-dimensional,
stuff.
you would think, like.
Yeah. Like there's no way they would have been on their ass that quickly, like at the rooftop basically.
Yeah, I did like the roof scene where they jump and all that. And I also like that he kept the transponder, like we figured it out how they were tracking us. I'm gonna hang on to it, but I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep it in two pieces, which hopefully deactivates it and they're not still tracking us. But
yeah, seriously, how do you know that that's not? Yeah, dude, that part when they jumped, that gave me, like, I'm not a big heights guy. Like I'm not afraid of heights per se. That first look though down, is like almost kind of vertigo inducing. I was like, dude, that looks like they are 980 stories high.
Yeah,
like,
and that pool didn't look very deep either.
And it was narrow. It was like one of them skinny fuckers that's like long. I was like, I feel like you'd have to be like 1 foot too far or too short and you're spaghetti on that. Like the way you're carrying. But also I feel like even if you made that jump in the water, that's probably gonna break some bones or like fuck you up, because that was high as shit.
Well, I mean, how many videos I'm sure you've seen, just like I have, of people trying to jump off like a second story roof into a pool and misjudging it and fucking racking themselves on the side.
Dude, especially it's so funny, like the angle in which Don Johnson jumps off. He's coming down on the side of his neck. Like, that's for sure killing you upon impact, but they're fine. They just jumped 140 stories. Dude, that was so fucking high. They also have throughout this too, they try to like weave this weird like love story, like will they, won't they kind of thing with Don Johnson and his old flame, played by Chelsea Field, who has like, she's up there in the billing, but she's not in this movie very much. I wonder how much she got paid for this. She's a pretty good looking woman too. She's aged well.
Yeah, and it didn't really seem to add anything to this
Zero.
already sort of thin plot, but
maybe that's why they added it, to try and like beef it up and give Don Johnson some kind of pathos or something. But
well, and also the weird little breakfast she has the next day, like with Mickey Rourke. Like, is there something else going on here that we are unaware of? Seemed kind of flirty, but
that I took that as just like they were like broing down, like they were buddy, and like she's known him over the years of his, like he comes back for a little while and then blows out of town, and like that he's been doing this for like a decade or something with Marlboro. Like that's just like their friendship. Like I don't know, because she seemed pretty cool with him pouring a can of Coke in a frying pan of blackened bacon.
What was that?
I don't know, dude. Is it just to like emphasize like how he's just like a grimy like meathead motorhead motherfucker that like he can't even make toast without fire spurting out the top of the toaster?
I mean,
like he's just a caveman motorcycle dude.
I mean, yeah, you may as well have shown him like drinking a glass of motor oil or something. Okay, it's pretty heavy-handed. Who the fuck just? No one would do that under any circumstance.
A fork in cast iron, just grating the blackest like sludge and then pouring a can of Coke in it. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is that? Yeah, he's like, that'll be for Marlboro. I'll take you out to breakfast. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Toaster catches fire. Let me put a frying pan on top of it to put it out.
So like she seemed pretty cool with that. So it like made me think like, oh, okay, they must go way back or something. But yeah, that whole like side Don Johnson and his old lady, like she's, I don't know. It didn't add anything.
What if Harley this whole time is like special needs? Because he clearly can't fire a gun. And so maybe she's just like, hey, buddy, how about we go get you some pancakes?
Dude, the first time he shoots that gun, that fucking Desert Eagle that he lifts off the people at the beginning when he tries to fire, like the way his arm and his body, like, yeah, he doesn't look very tough right there. But then when Don Johnson takes it and he like swings around on one knee and fucking blows it away, that was pretty cool. What did he call it? He called it this old rice grinding horse. I had to put it out of its misery. And then he proceeds to just blow it away. And then I skipped over this too when he's like, oh yeah, happy birthday, man. Here's this gun I just got off some dude that was sticking up this place. He's like, how's it feel to be an old man? And he's all, older the bull, stiffer the horn.
Again,
he's like, you gotta squeeze the trigger, dialogue. Harley. Don't yank it. It's not your dick. There's not very many one-liners. I thought there would be more in this that really like tickled me, but there were only a couple. Or when he calls that, when he's like, they go back to their other treehouse is this like fucking billboard. It's like they they're up there twice and they're like having heart to hearts and shit. Like when he tells him about his boots and his old man got them for him, and like they're talking about like their next move, you know. And he pulls out that gun. He's like, Ruger Super Black Hawk, the 454 conversion. He's like, where'd you get that hog leg?
Yeah, so
yeah,
then they have this weird dialogue, train hopping out of
that was
Vegas.
weird too.
I didn't even really understand why he jumped out. It seemed, I don't know, maybe I was just kind of losing interest in this particular scene.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like a good idea, like just get on the train, get the fuck out of town, figure it out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I want to go back. And then he just like...
I think they were trying to do the thing where it's like Harley was being like the virtuous one, trying to save his friends in the bar. And when he talks Don Johnson into it, you know, like there's a risk that this could go sideways. And he's like, you know, better be dead and cool than alive and uncool. And then later on, they're like roles are reversed, and like Mickey Rourke's the dickhead because like, yeah, my friends got blown away and I got to live with that. Sucks, but yeah, let's fucking, you know, we made it. Let's go. And then it's Don Johnson's turn to be like, no, this ain't right. We gotta finish it. You know, like,
okay, yeah, all right.
And then because then he says too right before he jumps off the train, he's like, better be dead and cool than alive and uncool. Like,
okay, yeah, fair enough.
But I'm with you. Like, yeah, at that point, it's like, yeah, stay on the train. Besides that, how long of a fucking walk is that from where you're in the desert? You gotta be, because you just jumped from Las Vegas. I feel like you've been on that train for a cool minute. It's like, so you're walking through eastern Nevada, western Arizona on foot.
I mean, who the fuck knows which direction it's going?
Yeah. No thanks.
So in the next chapter of worst choose your own adventure, why don't we go back to LA where they're looking for us and turn on the tracker?
Yeah.
That seems like a really good idea. And then not only that, let's not plan any sort of ambush. Let's turn on the tracker and then just kind of exist down the way, so that when these people who show up who are very upset and outgunning us, and with their weird leather Kevlar thing shows up.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this. All their shit is like bulletproof from like neck to toes. Yeah. So you have to hit them on the chin or above to kill them.
So we're going to invite them to fight. We're going to show up with inferior firepower, and then sort of be surprised when they turn and they're like, oh, hey, fuck, we're here too. Like, no ambush? How easy would that be to just make some sort of bomb when they find the empty briefcase with the tracker in it? No.
Well,
they want to stand toe to toe.
That is a good idea. Yeah, just fucking like have it open with like the cache, you know, and just have like some kind of improvised explosive ordnance of some kind. Later.
Yeah, if you wanted to create a trap, that's what you would do, not just an open invitation to fucking kill us.
Yeah, let's square off, and we have a revolver and a Desert Eagle.
Yeah, we've got Corky over here who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well, he does say he learned on a Ruger Super Blackhawk with a 454 conversion. And even Don Johnson scoffs. He's like, no one learns on a 454 conversion. He's like, I did. I was looking at it too. It's like that gun. It's not like the revolvers where the barrel
where
comes
you can pop out the whole cylinder and load all at once. It's a single loader.
You got to load it like inline.
There's that one little channel that opens, and you got to load it and spin it and load it. But it also works to unload also, so you have to unload one at a time. It's slow as shit.
Yeah, it's like, so you picked the worst gun possible for a firefight, and you see him. I mean, sticking to like the realism, I guess he's fucking with that thing too. He looks like he's really struggling at unloading and loading when they're in the boneyard. But yeah, that is a terrible call. Like, just like open field, like 50 yards away, and we have small arms, and you have fully automatic and infinite clips.
Well, and that boneyard reminded me of Con Air, obviously. So you could have easily created an ambush situation where they're going to where the tracker is. You know, you funnel them in and
give a rabbit a chase.
Yeah. Well, that's Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
Same thing, different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have done something to like flank, maybe have Don Johnson, like, you know, so they could have got the drop on him somewhat. But yeah, it's pretty paper thin. One of my favorite lines though too is right before this, like when the goon squad loads up in that chopper, and they're flying to the GPS, and the helicopter pilot, who's definitely like not on like Team Evil, he's like, man, this reminds me of when I was like flying through the rice paddies and Quezon or whatever. I had my co-pilot, he was so great or whatever. And fucking Daniel Baldwin turns to him, he's like, shut the fuck up and fly, Tom. And he's like, okay, man, shit. Like, that was pretty funny. It's like, he's gonna remember that.
Yeah, that was one of the funniest moments for sure. There's another one coming up that was my favorite. When, who would have thought that these two guys taking on multiple heavily armed men doesn't work out well, and the Baldwin guy grabs what's his name, and he's got the gun to his head.
Marlboro.
Yeah, and Harley pulls out his gun, and he's about to shoot him, and he's like, oh fuck. You know, because he knows he's a terrible shot. I thought that was the funniest single part of the movie where...
Oh shit. You just roboted out for like 3 seconds.
Okay, sorry. I thought the funniest part of the whole thing was when Baldwin takes Marlboro hostage, and Harley pulls out his gun, and Marlboro's like, oh fuck, because he knows. And he's like, just shoot him, and then he shoots him in the arm. And
the second time he's been caught in the arm in like the matter of 5 minutes. Yeah, I thought that the whole ending here is kind of hokey. Like, it's like, just shoot him, kill the son of a bitch, and then he like blows the top of his shoulder off, and he's like, fuck. Then he shoots him again, and like, so they finally get rid of Baldwin, but then they still have bigger fish to fry with Sizemore, who's like the big bad. So then this is kind of like just the shitty choose your own adventure part due.
This is the worst. Like, the worst of
Redux.
All of them.
Let's go back again into the bank, to this bank, when all of this shit's I just killed all your mercenary fucks from the Matrix.
Yeah, let's go back, give him all his money back, and then just be like, hey, be cool.
We're good.
Can we be cool? Can you give us this lease back to a building that we don't own and everyone's dead? We're not going to run it. We don't want this establishment anymore, but we're cool, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, they've already emphasized Harley's like, he doesn't stay anywhere for too long. And it's like, are they going to run this bar? Like, who's it go to?
Why don't you just keep the money?
Of the lease? Yeah, wouldn't you try to then, like, wouldn't you just leave at that point? Like, you should have stayed. Yes, the smart move would have been stay on the train before this. But then, okay, we got to make it right. We go back. We kill the people that actually killed our friends. Then leave.
Yes.
But no, we got to get the top of the pyramid. We got to kill him.
And I'm fine with that. If the plan was come back, ambush the goons, and then, you know, kill the head of the snake, but their plan for killing him was ridiculous. It was never going to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did have the opportunity. I mean,
Yeah,
he even
and
says,
they
"Yeah,
bitched
go
out.
ahead, shoot me right now," and he doesn't. And then he has to wait for all these circumstances to happen, and it's like, okay, now I'll kill you. And he even says, like, I had to even the odds a little bit, Harley. Shit. Even though we paid off like $250K or a band of money to the fucking airline pilot, the helicopter guy to come in. That was pretty sick. The way that fucking 20 millimeter cannon just fucking rolls out of the undercarriage and just mows down this fucking bank in the middle of the day. Like, where are the police? Yeah, it's pretty sloppy, but this is like when like Tom Sizemore like leans into it, like when he's got bloodied up and he's getting wild a little bit, he actually gets to like to emote a little bit and act.
Yeah,
he's definitely underutilized. Yeah, that's like you were saying. Stephen Baldwin in Usual Suspects is like ultimate pass for me. It's Sizemore in Saving Private Ryan is like the guy can do no wrong. He was so good as fucking Horvath. God, he's like, the more I think about it, he's like one of my favorites. He's got to be top 3 characters in Private Ryan.
Yeah, are you gonna drop the "you're a coward, son of a bitch"? Or
you were a coward, son of a
That's
bitch.
what I've been waiting for this whole time.
Fuck, I didn't even think about that. Do I even have it?
I think you do.
Suck brick, kid!
No, that's not it. That's Home Alone 2. Fuck. We got to do it for Tom. Coward. Yes.
You are a coward, son of a bitch!
I love that part.
I know you do.
Fall in. Or you go wrapped in a hunk of cheese up your ass, Capars. Thought you liked it in the ass. Maybe then we'll all have the right to go home, sir. Rest in peace. Pour one out for Tom Sizemore. Yeah, so that's
Sad.
That's the end. Kind of convoluted. Earlier too, I alluded to it, like Marlboro's wearing like these duct taped fucking cowboy boots, and he's like, yeah, this is the first thing and the last thing my dad ever gave me, so that's why he always wore these shit boots. And then at the end he's got these shiny fucking red things, and he talked about going back to bull riding, so they're off their separate ways, and they're at the fucking, it's like a smash cut immediately to like a shot of his boots, and they're at like some like rodeo, and Don Johnson's ready to fucking, he's hanging up his outlaw spurs for bull riding. And then they kind of have like a cheesy, like, all right, well, I'll see ya. It's time for you to get going. And I don't know, it seemed pretty anticlimactic. And then Harley rides out and sees a chick fucking hanging her thumb out to hitchhike. And she's like, where are you going? She's like, nowhere special. Come on, I'll take you there. Like,
yeah, you've got to finish it
ball.
on 2 things that would never happen. A guy who's probably 40 trying to get back into bull riding. Good luck.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, brother. And and then this super hot chick who just wants to get on a bike with a guy who's probably going to murder her and bury her in the desert.
Yeah. Well, roll credits. So that was Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man from 91, directed by a fella that I was like, who the fuck is this guy? But then I looked at his filmography, pretty wild. Directed by Simon Windsor. Never heard of this dude before. He directed The Phantom with Billy Zane. Hey,
Shit.
that's Billy Zane.
I think I saw that
Cool
when I was
guy.
younger. Sucks ass.
Did you?
Yeah.
I remember the promos at like 7-Eleven, like they had a Phantom cup and they had like a ring, and like I watched it later. It's pretty rough. But so this guy directed it. This is such a weird filmography. All right, so check it out. So I think he's an Australian dude. So he directed Quigley Down Under with
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Selleck.
You've seen that?
Yeah. Didn't we
Nice.
watch it? Didn't we do it for the pod or?
No.
Oh, maybe that was just an extracurricular that you recommended.
Did I?
You must have.
I had a stepdad that was really big into like the Quigley series, and
I didn't
Quigley
even know
Down
it
Under
a
was
series.
yeah, and he one of his favorites was Quigley Down Under, and I was like, I'll never watch that because I hate you. You're not my real dad.
I did my best, Jim. You weren't a real treat yourself.
Oh fuck, that's good. A lot of people, I mean, this is kind of like getting into like old man shit, but Lonesome Dove,
Yeah, I've never seen it.
it's like a 4-part series. It's like fucking 12 hours. Like every old person I know, like, so my dad's age and above, like, so like 60 to 90, they all old dudes love Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to be pretty great. Robert Duvall, Tommy Lee Jones, but anyway, it was this mini series that was big in the late 80s. He directed that. He directed Quigley Down Under, this film, followed by Free Willy in 93. What the fuck? Swim, fish.
That's quite the resume.
Yeah. He did a ton of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I guess there was a bunch of those. I had no idea. Operation Dumbo Drop is a banger.
God. Here we go.
Danny Gloves, Ray Liotta. 50,000 get you no elephant. 50,000 get you bow tot. God.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
50,000 no get elephant in river. 50,000 get you boat. Boat.
Yeah, and that's it. A bunch of other weird, like, just direct to video shit. It's like, dude, that's such a weird trajectory.
Yeah.
Of like these like westerns, like this like outlaw biker, then Free Willy. And then he just did Dumbo Drop and a shit ton of Young Indiana. I don't know. It was kind of wild. But yeah, this movie bombed at the box office. Can you believe it? In 91, this had a $25 million budget. I was like, where?
Yeah, why?
And it only made like 12, maybe 7 mil. Yeah, it only made 7 million in the box office. So this fucking lost money.
That doesn't make
a lot of people
sense.
say it's like,
because there's no like special effects or.
They might have spent a lot on that when he laid the bike down. Like that's the only big one. Maybe renting the fucking helicopter to come in and fucking cycle some rounds through the 110th story, or paying the fucking stunt guys to jump off of 900 stories into a fucking. Although they probably cut that and they just jump from like the first floor. Did you remember? We glossed over this at our actual intro to Don Johnson. He's at like some other bar, and he's hustling at the pool table. Did you notice the Indian guy who he's playing pool against? Do you remember Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas on the USA Network back in the early 90s?
I'm familiar with it. I never watched it, but
dude, he played Bobby Six Killer. He was like Lorenzo Lamas's right-hand man in that whole series. Yeah. I picked him up instantly. I was like, oh shit. I was like, he was fucking Lorenzo Lamas fucking sidekick in Renegade. That was a biker movie or a biker show too.
That was a tough scene. Just seemed too long.
Yeah. I remember that was like, I think Renegade followed something that I used to like on USA. And I was like, fuck this shit. Like, I was never into bikes or like the whole biker culture is kind of like a turnoff to me. Like, I don't get it. Like the open road and like the whole biker mentality is lost on me. But
there's part of me that would love to have a motorcycle, but everyone in my life won't allow me to do it. And I also, you'll love this. I was talking to a couple firefighters a while back, and they were talking about this guy who died in a motorcycle accident up the hill back where he used to live. He was coming down the hill and he hit one of those, like, is it a K-rail where it's like those concrete like barriers?
Yes.
Yeah.
That are like 10 feet long and they're like a couple feet wide and they're shaped like a fucking, yeah.
They're like thick at the bottom, thinner at the top.
Yep.
So he was describing it. He was describing this guy's body as a water balloon after he hit it.
Ugh.
Like his whole entire body was just gone and it was a bag of blood.
Fuck.
So that kind of turned me off a little bit, but.
Dude, my ex's dad had a bike and he lived in like East Bay, like far East Bay, like past Pittsburgh into the Delta in California.
Yeah.
So like think like Rio Linda almost area.
Okay.
Like Pittsburgh, Antioch. He used to commute to there to SFO because he worked at the airport in San Francisco on his bike. And he not once, but twice laid down his bike like near abouts the Bay Bridge from someone cutting him off.
Yeah. He was also a heavy drinker though, right?
True, but as much as yes, but this also happened on early morning commutes both times. And I don't think he's that stupid. Oh fuck. I'll have a beer. Dude, the first time he like got a punctured lung. He was in the fucking hospital for like 3 weeks. They pumped like a fucking liter of cola, a liter of fluid out of his lungs. They had to put this mesh shit. They had to totally repair his shoulder. Dude, the second time he was like a cunt hair away from dying. Like, and he just, the way he described it, it was like people just not paying attention. And he wasn't even splitting lanes and someone just fucking whomp. It's like you don't have the same protection, you know, as surrounded by metal and shit in a car. Like that whole aspect has always got me like, fuck that, dude. You're so like exposed, you know? But
you save so much time, especially in the Bay Area.
And fuel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fuel and like for him and like just like the open road thing, like I can guess I can get some of that, like the freedom and like just like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't do it. It freaks me out. I'm averse to like any kind of like major risk, like on a bike, just two wheels on the ground. Fuck that.
Well, you also got a little nervous as a passenger in a Nissan Versa in the Bay Area, so.
Dude, you were driving like a bat out of fucking hell. What is that exchange where you're going to the Bay Bridge and it's like 9 lanes?
Yeah.
That go in. It's like either going in and or coming out of the toll.
Yeah.
Where you take that big sweeping right to go into the Bay Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. Bay Area,
I feel like at a couple points, like you were pegged. Like, well, like it was like
pegged in a Versa. It's just trying to keep up. But yeah, I also blame civil engineers for the design of that interchange is so fucking bad that when you turn the corner. Anyway, too regionally specific, but I stand by my driving skills.
That thing too, it was that car is horrible for acceleration. It had like a it was clutchless. So that those cars don't have a clutch. It's basically, it was described to me like it's basically like a big rubber band. And so like anytime like you're giving it a lot of gas and you're really trying to get torque, it's like it's not as responsive as a normal clutch. So you have to like stand on it and wait for it to like give you that jerk, that like that jolt that you need.
Huh.
Dude, I felt it sometimes driving up from Chico to Paradise to home. Like that fucker would lag, dude. I would have to fucking pretty much stand on it to the floor just to make like 65 up the hill. Like it just has no power, like no torque. Totally torqued.
They do make a turbo version of the Versa, which I got as a rental one time. And I was asking the guy, I was like, what car is mine? He's like, it's a Versa. I was like, oh really? He's like, dude, it's a turbo. We just got it in. That thing fucking ripped so hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Nice. Probably had a VVTi, some like variable valve timing with intelligence.
Fuck if I know.
Dude, I remember in high school, I had a buddy, he was like rich, and he had a Suburban that was supercharged, and that thing would fucking tear. I was like, God, you fucking rich assholes. And it was like a 94 Suburban. It was like, yeah, we just got it fucking supercharged. Like, can you imagine that, a Suburban with a supercharger in it? Yeah, dude, that thing was like it was like stuck on the ground. Like the amount of like, it was so sticky, like the way it felt when you were in it. It was just like, that's too much car, man. My dad had a Corvette at one time, a Stingray, and he let me drive it a couple times when I was like 16. And it was like a big, like wide foot pedal that he had on it. And I swear to God, like, and he always ran it. He ran it without exhaust. So he ran it straight through the catalytic converter. So he had no pipes on it. So you ever hear that like crackle when you hear like an engine like fucking rev, and it's like, whoa, it's got that like, like when you have a crackle in your chest, you know, when you cough.
Yeah.
It's got that fucking.
Do you have pneumonia?
I can't.
Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I can't mimic it with my voice, but dude, you would barely
like a glass pack. Have you ever heard that sound?
No, I don't know if I have.
You might have. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, you would just barely like put 5% of pressure on the pedal, and it would just crackle. It sounded like the Batman car, like flames were fucking flying out your tailpipe or something. Like that was good times. He let me drive it. We went to like a family reunion in Portland, and he passed out. And I remember I'm driving at like 16, and I was getting it up to like 90, 95, 100 coming down I-5, and these dudes in like a fucking car with like surfboards on top, they passed me going super fast, and they just gave me the hang 10 because I was like just like a kid, like I kept glancing over like every like 5 seconds to make sure my dad was still passed out. That was fun. All right. Yeah. I got a good buzz on. I'm about halfway. One beer in. That's the equation.
You found your homeostasis?
Yep. I don't think I asked you at the top of this. What is this, a pass or fail on old Harley and the Marlboro Man?
I liked it for sure.
Nice.
I don't think it's good, but I liked it.
No, this is not a good film, and I will support that, even being the one that brought this to the table, and having the nostalgia glasses on. This time I did watch it, and I was like, this is rough, but it's enjoyable enough. Like there's things that can pull me through to where like I'm kind of excited, like when my son turns 10, 11, 12, that we can watch this and have a good time. Like, this is not winning any awards. It is what it is. It knows what it is.
I'd put this one way down the list for the young G baby.
Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff that are going to go in front of this for sure, but this will be one that, like, it'll be fun. It'll be a dumb fun, like, watch. Yeah, there's tons of stuff that are going in front of this for sure.
Stop eating my sesame cake!
Congo's way above this. Yeah, there's so much. I couldn't even. I'll go on a tangent. All right, it's cool. So we got a win here. I know I've said it the last few episodes. I think our last episode was fucking. I don't even know what our last episode was. I think it was like Mungo with Randy.
Really?
From Straight Chilling. I don't know. We've done a couple that I banked and that I haven't released because I wanted to. This was our 100th episode, and I wanted it to be in real time, like this is our 100th episode, and release it that way. So I think we're gonna follow this. We did Kinjite with Chris from Mount Molehill. Who shout out to him real quick. He actually has a new podcast called Dead Formats. Check that out. It's good shit. He's got 2 episodes out already. So yeah, we did Kinjite with Charles Bronson, which was a really good time. I've been sitting on that one for us to come back. So we are going to come back and hopefully have. I've said this like the last 3 episodes, I think. So we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna get after it, and I don't know what we'll come back with next week, but it'll be something good. So if you want to send us an email, you have any comments, complaints, concerns,
hate mail,
you can do so at waxingtheporpoise.com, or you can reach out to us on either of our socials. We have Instagram at waxingtheporpoise. X is at waxingtheporp. Check us out. We're also on Threads now, which is still at waxingtheporpoise. Yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any final thoughts for Marlboro or anything in general you want to throw out there?
No, don't think so. Check me out on Grindr and Truth Social.
I almost did a spit take. What's your screen name on that?
Don't worry about it.
Spacey75.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
So, thank you for joining us for Harley. Marlboro Man, shoot us some input, and we'll see you when we see you, and we'll see you later.
Baseball.
Oh, man.